Welcome, everybody, to Phillies Unfiltered. This is our 20th episode. So
Thanks.
good for us.
Yes, we did it.
um, so Jim, how you doing? It's been a while. It's been a weird
It's
set of
it's
time here.
it has it doesn't feel normal anymore.
I know.
I mean it's it hasn't been routine the last couple of weeks. You know, you had some stuff going on. You were out of the country.
I was. I
How
was.
how was that?
So it was really good. We tried until we tried to come home. That took 3 days because of flight delays, but I won't get into that here. But I will say I had a couple of cool kind of Philly related things, Philadelphia related things. I wore my hats. I had my Liberty Bell hat for the Philly City Connect uniform, and then I had our Phillies Unfiltered hat on because got
Nice.
to promote, right?
Yeah, you're right.
So we're on a cruise ship, and I ran into at least 7 or 8 different people or groups of people that were, I said go Phils or go Birds or whatever, just, trying to
You got
make that connection.
accommodate, right?
Right. So that was pretty cool. But the coolest thing was my wife and I, Bridget and I, we were in London at the beginning of our trip, and we found out about this bar, this restaurant that I think it's called Passyunk Pass. Just a quick edit. It's actually Passyunk Play. Just wanted to make sure I corrected that. And so it was a guy who founded it and started it. He was from Philly, and he brought all the cheesesteak recipe and everything, rolls, everything. The
Nice.
best cheesesteak I have ever had outside of Philadelphia, and I'm not kidding.
You had to leave
It,
the country to get it.
that's what we said to them there. And of course they're like, "Really?" It's like, "No, you have no idea how bad they get the further you get away from Philly. It's just it just they don't know what they're doing." But yeah, the guy went and because Bridget asked, she's like, "Where do you guys get your rolls?" Because that seems to be like the hardest part of doing
Always.
it, and chopping the meat. Usually they did that great
Yeah.
too. But they said apparently they ship them from all over different places in England, and but their rolls are amazing. They chopped it perfectly. The ratio was perfect. It
Awesome.
was great, and they had Phillies, Flyers, Eagles jerseys, and memorabilia everywhere. And there was a lot of like college stuff too, Drexel, Temple, stuff like that.
Nice.
So it was cool. It was really a cool find, and everybody was like, "Why are you going to a place to get a cheesesteak when you're in London?" It's like we
Yeah.
couldn't not go. Like
You heard about it. You gotta
yeah,
go. So
exactly.
you're there.
And then they had
That's
this thing.
cool.
Yeah, they put like $1 up on the. You could put $1 up on the wall and like write,
Mhm.
a note. So we just put like "Go Phils." Brent and Bridget, and then we
Yeah.
put it on the wall. So, we left our mark. It was kind of cool. And, we had a
Nice.
good, like I said, good time on the trip. I did track the Phils while I was there to the best of my ability. It was a 5 hour time difference. So,
Yeah.
by the time they got on the West Coast, that wasn't happening because
No.
I was kind of waking up like a half hour after their games were ending in some cases.
It's not like you wanted to watch most of those games anyway.
It
Uh,
was rough. Yeah, it was rough.
uh,
So.
hey, that's awesome. Glad you had a great time. While we're, before we get started on anything, I got the Derby on. Who you got tonight?
I gotta be honest. I haven't even paid attention to who's in it. When I heard Kyle was declining it, I'm like, eh.
You know, I like a lot of the people are going with O'Neill Cruz or Cal Raleigh. I'm gonna go. I'm gonna do a hot take. Brent Rooker. I'm gonna go with the
Yeah, I
Brent
mean he
Rooker
has the
night tonight.
capability. Yeah, and he has a
Yes. Well,
great name
who
too.
knows? Yeah, yes. Potential Philly. Who knows?
Yeah, we've been talking about that
He,
for a couple of years.
I know, right? But that's so. Derby's not the same as it used to be, but hey, it's still a good time. It's still one of the better
Oh yeah,
events when it comes to any kind of All-Star game.
I'm
So
still trying
I'll
to
take it.
go next year when it's in Philly. I'd love to
It'd be
take
pretty
Calder.
cool.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
I
don't know
think
how it's gonna. Yeah, I don't know how it's
the
gonna
home
work.
run derby is the one I'd want to go to, if
Yeah,
any of them. And you have to make sure you get the outfield, right?
yeah.
Um, so we'll see what happens next year. Um, but it's
Well,
good to be back.
it is good to be back, and we've got a lot to cover because it's been a couple of weeks. We're not going to cover every bit of it because that's just
No.
not possible. I think we'll talk about sort of the overall, and of course I couldn't watch all of it. I was tracking it, but I couldn't watch them. The video of all of them. I tried to catch highlights, but you were kind of giving me sort of the inside no pun intended, the inside baseball on what was happening. Because I can see scores, I can see what happened in an at bat, but you only see how it happens, and that's a lot of what we do here. Is sort of like not just this was the result, but how it looked happening and how we felt about how it unfolded. So yeah, so let's. I mean, can you just kind of give your take on the last couple of weeks? It was what Houston, Atlanta. I think that's kind of how it started, and
Yeah,
we won the Atlanta series. Houston was a disaster, as
it was terrible. That was one of the worst series of
the season.
recent
Yeah,
years. Honestly, that
yeah,
was just terrible. Couldn't score. I mean, it just hasn't been a good month.
yeah,
Just say that they're about playing with 500 baseball. It's just they need to be better. I have some issues with a couple guys. Uh,
oh yeah,
uh, Honestly, I have a big problem with Rob Thompson's choices with the bullpen. I'm sorry, you're
yeah,
putting Daniel Robert in an eighth inning when you're only up two. I That was a huge red flag to me. Hey, I know Joe Ross has been struggling, but I would have rather had Joe Ross in that situation. Daniel Robert couldn't get guys out. He got one out, forced Romano to come in to get two outs, sit down, come back, and let up a walk off inside the
inside
park
the
home
part.
run,
Yeah,
which would have been out of the in the Phillies bullpen if it
oh
was
yeah,
here, for instance. Like it was a shot, but give Bradley some credit for hitting the ball like that. But
mm-hmm.
that can't happen. Like you're sending a guy who hasn't pitched more than an inning all year. Bad choices. So
Yeah,
and then
and
yeah, go ahead.
I was just gonna say, and part of that is the personnel available, right? I mean, he can put in who he has, and it is limited. That's the biggest problem with the bullpen is there's like no one reliable right now, and we'll get into this more, but I mean, I just they just don't have. I mean, Kirkering has been pretty good, although yesterday, I guess it was
Wasn't that
yesterday,
sharp yesterday?
Sunday. He was throwing that slider 2 feet off the plate. Kind of reminded me of a couple years ago when he first came up in the playoffs, where he just kept throwing it to the Diamondbacks
Yeah,
off the plate, off the plate.
yeah.
That's got to be your out pitch. You got to set it up with the fastball, and then that's the pitch you chase. I mean, but anyway, yeah, I don't disagree with you though. I don't love Topper's decisions lately, all of
Yeah.
them. I don't think I'm not at the point where I don't like him for this team, but he is definitely not at the top of his game right now
Yeah,
either.
yes, because he had a moment in San Francisco. It was San Francisco. Like he, outside of that, that the blown lead there, that he should have been going nuts with the strike calls by Phil Cuzzy,
Oh yeah, yeah,
or ball calls in this situation.
yeah. I
He
saw
called
that.
some egregious strikes that were high and outside. Well, they were
Yeah,
high on Harper. They were really outside, but they were high. They were above the strike zone. And then
yeah,
Kirkering's painting the corner. It was perfect. Like it was unhittable. It was a great pitch. He hit that spot with three times. Ball, ball, ball. No,
yeah,
no, like that. That was like you see Cotham like yelling. Where was that? In other words, of
yeah.
course. But Topper should have been in the face of somebody. Somebody should have been thrown out in that situation.
Right.
It wasn't enough. Um, but uh,
Yeah.
but yeah,
No, no,
he's not the only issue. But
no. I mean, I don't even think he's the biggest issue.
oh,
He's
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 not.
he's 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 definitely got to, I think, be a little bit better with the decisions, like you said, and yeah, he's got to, I think, come out and even though it's not his personality as a default, you do sometimes have to do something, show your guys that you got their back, and come
You,
out and get in the umpire's face.
you don't have to be Larry Boa.
Right.
You don't have to be Lou Pinella. You just have to get out there
Well, look at
and talk.
Charlie Manuel wasn't a high strung guy, but when he got agitated, he got in the umpire's face, and he
Right.
would
Well, you
he
gotta
would argue.
sometimes.
But I mean, all in all, he was always a pretty laid back guy. But
Hmm.
when he got amped up, and I think Topper once or twice I've seen him do it in 3 years. But I mean, yeah, sometimes when the ump's that bad, yeah, you got to go out there and do
Even
something
Gabe,
to.
even Gabe Kapler got out there. Come on, like,
Well, yeah,
that's
he was out there, but we won't get into that.
well, coconuts.
um, yeah, well, not just that, just all kind. I have a lot of complaints about Gabe, but anyway,
Another
so
time.
So, as I said, we do have a lot of stuff we're going to cover, and normally our listeners, you guys know, we usually do our studs and duds for the past week. It's been 2 weeks now,
Yeah.
and since we're at the halfway point, it's the All Star break. Jim and I figured we would give our kind of midpoint studs and
Yeah.
duds,
Why
and
not?
so with that in mind, let's start with studs. Who are some of your
It's
studs for the first half?
so I like to go with a pitcher, and I'd like to go with more of a hitter too.
Hmm.
Christopher Sanchez. I know Wheels has been great, Ranger's been excellent, but Christopher Sanchez, man, like
Yeah.
first of all, he's an all-star. In my mind, he's an all-star.
Well, the Phillies paid
How
him with that bonus.
and what a great move!
I love it.
I think that is fantastic. It shows like, hey, we appreciate what you've done
Yep.
for this team,
It was
and
absolutely.
we know you're up there in potentially Cy Young votes, getting some
Yeah.
votes. Hey, your teammate's probably going to have a little bit more than you are, but I think Christopher Sanchez has been consistently excellent.
Yeah.
I mean, because Wheeler has had a couple bad games.
Right.
Has
I
Sanchez really had a
no.
bad
And
game
that's
like that?
that's what I think I said that a couple episodes back where Sanchez has been
Yes,
the most consistent. Like he hasn't had
yes,
that one wow, that was a bad game. Wheeler's had like you said one or two and then Sanchez that first one out,
yes.
which I mean, I'll throw that away cuz it was the first one back, but Sanchez has not had that complete unraveling of a game.
No, he
Which
hasn't.
which is great. And nothing I mean, Wheeler's going to have he gives up his home runs sometimes, but
Yeah,
Wheeler we know he comes through when it matters. Like, he's pitching pretty well
right.
generally right now, but went down the stretch in the playoffs, he's the guy that
Oh
you're
yeah,
gonna,
absolutely. I'm going to rely on him
um,
because he's just naturally a stud, you know. So
right.
like,
But I agree with you.
and
Sanchez
it's
is such an underrated. Still across the league doesn't get the respect
yeah,
that
like
he
no,
should
he
get.
doesn't, and shows in the All Star votes.
Yeah.
Like, I'm sorry, you're going to give it to Jacob Mizorowski, who's pitched 5 games. That's some
Well,
nonsense. Hey,
I love that.
the kid's talented. I'll give him
But
that.
you could have given it to
5
Abel after his
starts,
first two starts. I mean, like if
right?
you're going to go with that logic and see where we
Yeah,
are with him now. So, no,
right.
I think Sanchez. I think his teammates had his back with that All Star stuff too, because they
Yeah,
all commented on the Miz stuff where it was like, really, come on, but I like also on this point that our guys are declining the All Star
I
game and
do like
focusing on
that
the
too.
second half.
They want to
Wheeler
win.
said yeah, exactly. And Ranger, very self aware, knowing he has had the back issues and the injuries, giving himself the chance to rest and recover. I think that shows a lot of experience, knowing that the second half is a grind and you have to be
Right.
ready for it. And Wheeler, Wheeler would have probably he may have started the All Star game. Well, Skeen's probably still going to start,
I
but
mean,
it was
it could have been
close. I
either.
mean, it
The
could have been
toss
either,
up.
right?
Yeah.
But I mean, I like that. I like that they're thinking that way about the second half of the season. I think they know that the window is not huge anymore with this group, and that this is a year that they've really got to make the push. And
Right.
to do that, you need a healthy roster, and
Yes.
I like that they're thinking that way. It's a good
Yeah.
sign.
So, and then as far as the hitter side, it was another toss up for me. I'm going to give it to Kyle. I mean, 30 home runs. Like,
Yeah,
can you ask for more? Hey, it's a contract here. He's showing that he deserves it. And
but he's done it
I mean,
every year, not
right, but
30.
this is just,
Not yeah.
but
He's a little
this is more productive than he
yeah.
has been. I do like, I still like him in the middle of the lineup.
So
Yeah,
do I.
he led off on Sunday, but I think it might have just been a little, hey, just let's shake it up a little bit, try to get the
Yeah,
offense going. But I still see that he should be, hitting in the middle of the lineup somewhere. He like
yeah.
producing
Fourth or
runs.
fifth, third, fourth, fifth,
Yeah,
something
I
like
mean he
that.
should
He's
be
got to
four.
be
He
there.
should be four. He should be four.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
that's just another story for another day. But he's been excellent. I mean, of course, we all wish the average is a little bit up.
But
I wish the strikeouts weren't there, but he gets on base. He
250,
walks.
he's about 240, 247 right now.
Hey,
But
it's better than it has been.
if he's hovering around 250, he's not batting 200 or 190,
Right.
whatever he was 2 years ago.
I
I'll
mean,
take that.
he had a moonshot this weekend. Like it was similar to his home run
I
in
know.
the playoffs. It was off the facing of the second
It
deck.
was a little lower,
Like,
yeah, but it
yeah,
was,
the guy.
yeah,
I mean, he is so strong. It is ridiculous to watch.
yeah.
So I thought about Trey, for as far as the hitter goes, but because he's been excellent. He's tailed off a bit
His
recently,
average has
but
dipped, yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
but I'm going to give that to Kyle. And what about you? What do you got?
Well, it's funny. We talked about it actually already. I mean, I have two offensive guys, and then um, so I'll say Trey Turner just because he's
Yeah,
first in the NL in hits, which is
right. This is
exactly what I want from Trey Turner. 11 homers, that's fine. If he ends up with 20 homers and let's say 80 RBIs, 75, 80 RBIs,
solid.
leading the league in the NL hitting with the in hits. And the average too. I mean, yeah, it was 300 at one point. It's 289 now. I think it could go back up again though. If he
Yeah,
stays in that 290 to 300, let's say 305, 310 range, love that. I'm happy with his offense. I still am not a fan of his defense. He had a good run there for a few weeks where he was doing really really well, and he's been okay lately. But he came back down to earth.
he made a couple errors recently. Yeah,
Yeah, and I'm not. You're gonna make mistakes. I get that, but again, I sound like a broken record. But that is a position where you just need your most sure-handed defender in the infield, and he is not that. Stott is that. And but anyway, I got to give Trey his props though. He is
absolutely.
very locked in. He's making contact a lot of multi-hit games,
Yeah,
and he's back to running at top notch. I think he really last year was like a recovery year for him coming
no,
back from injury and
my
stuff.
hamstring. Yeah,
Yeah, and that's gonna really hurt you. Trying to get up to top speed, but this year he's moving. He's got that smooth slide going. I like how he looks right now offensively. So I'm gonna
20
give him
plus
that.
steals. Yeah,
Yeah, and Kyle, I had him as well because of the 30 homers. He's got 69 RBIs. That's a great RBI total. But you know what? He was nowhere near that before in the first half because he was in the top of the lineup. Now he's in the middle of the lineup for the majority of the time, so he's getting RBI opportunities. He's on pace for a pretty good RBI total,
yeah.
and I think 50 home runs is not out of the question this year.
It's no. I mean, we got 60 something games left. Plenty of time to hit 20,
Yeah, and he's second in the NL in walks, which
which
Kyle's
is
always
great.
among the league
That
leaders, but that's
on
always
base
good.
percentages skyrockets in that case. So it's great.
Exactly. And I'm going to say for pitching, again, Wheeler's the easy one, and I could have gone with Sanchez, but I'm going to go with Ranger just because he
Okay.
has battled and stayed healthy, knock on wood, since he came. He started the season basically when he got back into the rotation, and he's been so good. The ERA's at 2.15.
It's
The
excellent.
people are batting 218 against him. I mean, just it's really good to see him doing this. And I don't know if he'll be here next year. I don't know if we're going to be able to make a deal with him because Scott Boras is his agent. We know he's
Mm,
going to make things difficult.
right.
Um, I'm not opposed to bringing Ranger back depending on how everything shakes out, right? I think it depends on Luzardo's second half. I think that's going to be a key factor in whether we look at Ranger coming back. I think whether Painter, because Painter has kind of struggled a little bit at AAA lately. He has not had the best.
Mhm.
Now, do I think that that's a big? No, I think he's still going to be a really good major league pitcher.
He will.
But you know, I, yeah, I think you're going to have to figure that out after the season. Yeah, you can't make a
Yeah.
decision on Ranger right now. The people saying trade him for bullpen help or right-handed bat are morons.
I
I'm,
know.
I'm sorry, that's just a moronic thing
No,
to
yeah.
do. You have the best rotation in baseball right now. You do. The top three I would put up against any top three in a playoff series.
As would
Any
I.
top three.
As would I.
Dodgers. I mean, you can go through any team in baseball. I will put our top three against them, and I feel good
Absolutely.
about it.
Me
Like you
too.
said, I think you feel pretty good about taking 2 out of 3 with those three on the mound at least.
Absolutely. I mean, they didn't give it to us this weekend,
No, but that's going to happen
but they
occasionally.
did.
But you look at the totality of the season so far; it has worked out that way. I mean, you're
Yeah,
looking at
absolutely.
Wheeler has a 9-3 record. Rangers got a 7-3 record. Sanchez is 8-2. And I mean, that doesn't mean necessarily that could be luck for them and stuff, but it means the team wins when they pitch. That's
They're
that's a
they're in
sign of that.
winnable. They're in a winnable situation when they pitch.
Right. And
All the
and
time.
there's
All the time. It's just that the offense doesn't always produce it.
but that's the other thing. A lot of those games that they've pitched, they've won. It's not reflected. They've gotten a lot of no
Right.
decisions because that's how
Yeah.
baseball works sometimes. But
Look at Houston.
right. Right.
That
Yeah,
whole
how many
series.
what do we have one run in
We
3
scored
games?
one run.
Yeah, that's
Yes. Like
pathetic.
that was, and we only let up maybe what, 4 or 5? I forget
Yeah,
now,
and
but
that
it
should be
was
enough to win a series.
that should be enough to win a game.
Right. It should in modern
Come
baseball. It
on.
should, but yeah. I mean, so I'm saying Ranger for the
Okay,
specific player,
yeah,
just because I know he is more injury prone than Wheeler or Sanchez, and I'm sure it's been tough for him to stay healthy. But he's just looked good, and not to take away from the other two because they've looked incredible as well. So those are
okay.
my studs. What do you got for duds?
All right, so I'm gonna make an obvious one for pitcher, and it's Jose Alvarado.
Okay, I actually didn't
You
go
know,
that route, but that's a good call.
I
Yeah.
mean, like he screwed the bullpen.
Oh yeah, for sure.
So we've been feeling it for the last what 2 months now, however long it's been.
Absolutely.
That's all I got for pitching. And then as far as hitter goes, Max Kepler.
Yeah,
I
I
mean,
have him too.
you're barely over 200. Sure,
Yeah.
you have what 10 home runs. You've hit knocked in a few, but put up or shut up, man. I mean, it's you make a comment about not playing enough, but when you're playing, you're not producing. The guy
Well,
that they're putting in left field for you actually puts in the effort
the
and does
efforts there.
well.
Yep. The efforts there with Kemp. Yeah. Yeah.
So I don't see it from Kepler. He's disinterested. He does not play well, and if you can get rid of him now as a rental for somebody else, I mean, he's a rental piece for somebody. See ya, pack him in.
Well,
I've had enough.
the other thing I'll say is because I have him too, but he's batting 157 with runners in scoring position. That
Well,
is
so his
not
whole team
okay.
at this point, but
Yeah, but that's real bad for a
no, yeah,
six batter. I mean, he's kind of been in that. He needs to be doing better than that. Like
he
Harper
does.
generally hits pretty well with runners on base, typically, unless he's going through a real bad funk. Um, and Nick tends to come through usually too. But yeah, I hear you. Overall, that has been not the best. But yeah, anyway, yeah, I agree with you. Kepler is definitely
It's
my offensive
it's
dud.
right. It's like that's why I said put up or shut up. If you're going to talk
Yeah,
about not playing enough, you put in the effort. Put up the numbers. Like
right. And
it's
it's not just
it's
against lefties. It's
it's
righties,
it's
lefties.
all
He's just not.
together.
Yeah, he's not coming
Like
through. Yeah,
we signed you. Hey, it's a prove it year for you. You ain't proving squat.
yeah.
It's so I think yeah, to get a little feisty about it. I've had enough of it. And I mean, there's more I could say about other players, but he's the one that stood out to me the most as far as performance, like
Well,
for what
nobody's
he's.
been that bad. Like some guys have maybe underperformed or had their funks, but Kepler's been. He's never
Oh,
really
you're
gotten to that level. Yeah, that we need him at. But yeah, so he's my offensive one, and then I put Jordan Romano for my
okay.
pitching dud because like, yeah, I agree with you. Alvarado really put a strain on that pen, and that's not entirely on Romano or any of the other guys. But Romano needs to be better than he has
Yes,
been,
he does.
a lot better. And he has like a game or two where he'll look like pretty decent, but there has not been a consistent stretch where I'm like, okay, he's figured it out. I cringe every time he comes in because it's just
Yes,
he strikes me as a head case. Like
he is.
he just doesn't there's like I don't know if it's a focus issue or if it's you know I don't know, but I don't. I'm okay with him being a seventh or eighth inning guy along with like Kirkring or whatever, but we
Yeah,
need a closer.
and
We just do.
that's the next conversation we should have is the trade deadline. That's
Yeah.
coming up. I mean, there's some pretty high leverage, high velocity guys that are going to be available.
Well, so we'll get why don't we do our pros and cons and then
Yeah.
we'll get to that because I have a
Yes.
lot to
Fine.
say about that. So why don't I start with my pros? Starting rotation has got to
Absolutely, I
be.
agree.
I mean, it's the obvious one. None of this has changed for me since the beginning of the season. Honestly, everything we projected has pretty much come to fruition. As far as the starting rotation being solid and top in the league, one of the top in the league, they have been. I already went through some of the stats. The ERAs of our top three. Wheeler's a 2.36, Rangers a
Ridiculous.
2.15, Sanchez is a 2.5. None of 230 is the highest batting average anybody has against any of these guys, and that's against Sanchez. Rangers 218, and Wheeler is 181. People are batting against him. And Wheeler has the complete game.
Yeah, his yeah.
Um, in innings pitched, he's got 122 innings, 154 Ks. I mean, Wheeler's, as always, Cy Young candidate. He's just doing it, you know.
One pitch away from a perfect game
Yeah, right. I mean, how crazy is that? It's just, you know,
against former Philly Austin Hayes.
right. Of course, that's just our luck. But yeah. So I mean, that's got to be the pro. It's got to be the
Yeah,
starting
no,
rotation. I don't
I
even
agree.
have any other overall pros. I mean, it's got to be the starting rotation. So
I agree 100%. That was my pro too. Is the starting rotation mainly those three guys? Luzardo had a really really good start. I mean,
he
he's
did.
tailed off drastically. I mean, he's doing something wrong. There's something going on with him, possibly
Hopefully,
mentally.
the break
Hopefully not
helps.
physically. Yeah, let's
Hopefully, the
hope.
All Star break is a mental
Uh,
reset. It might help a lot of these guys, especially the offensive guys. The break came at a good time for
Okay,
this
and
team.
then and then the turnaround for some guys, like hey, Trey's been hitting the ball quite well,
Oh yeah,
and his
yeah. That's
defense
why I gave
hasn't.
him a
Yeah,
stud.
and his
Yeah.
defense has improved. And then you got like Alec Bohm, like he struggled for the first month, and then he turned it on big time.
Oh yeah, yeah,
So I mean, there's a turnaround for some guys. So I'm happy with that. But the starting rotation, 100% the pro so far this season.
yeah,
Um, as far as the cons go, it's the bullpen.
yeah.
But you've already touched on that. Orion's been the most trustworthy guy, and Strawn's picked it up a little bit recently, but he's I don't
He's
know. But
he's not as solid as he's been in past
no, he's not.
seasons.
He hasn't been. So it's a little bit of a concern, and there's not much reliability back there, which is why hopefully they can get a piece or two.
Yeah,
And then I mentioned it in the beginning of the year is the production from center field. Yes, Brandon Marsh has gotten better.
yeah,
He's been hitting the ball hard, but he's getting to become more of a liability out in the field too.
yeah.
So overall, center field's a problem, and there's a guy waiting. I feel he's still ready. Why
He
not?
is. I'm getting fed up with the front office with the reluctance of, oh, he's 21. There's plenty of guys that come up when they're
Cares
21 and they have
how
good careers. Like, I
how
get that that's generally the rule, that you want to let them develop. He has developed. He is at
yeah.
the ceiling right now. Like, you need
He
to
can't
let
do
him out.
anything else. We know what he's going to be. We know he's not going to be a power hitter. He's going to be an average guy. He's going to put the ball in play.
He is our future leadoff hitter. That's what
Yes,
he is.
he's going to
Put him
steal
at the leadoff spot,
bags.
center field, leading off Justin Crawford. Let's get
I
it done.
can't wait, man. Like that's
And
what
he's
I need to
he's going to be
see.
a Gold Glove center fielder too,
Yeah.
probably.
So like he's waiting in the wings. He's ready to go. Just pull the darn trigger and bring him up. Like Rojas is useless when he is at the plate. Like
He
what's he
can't
doing?
even bunt consistently.
No,
Like,
he can't.
I just and
He's
like you said, the fielding, Rojas has skill and
yeah.
speed, but the decision making is still a problem.
He's
He makes very bad decisions out there.
he's also a little bit too cutesy out there. I don't know how else to put it. Like he's trying too hard to make the cool play. Like I'm sorry, you're not Andrew Jones.
Or
You know,
Shane
like
Victorino, he could
you're
just
not Shane.
glide to
Yeah,
a ball and just like,
but Rojas has that skill, but he doesn't do. He doesn't. He's trying too hard to make it the exciting play. I'm
yeah,
sorry. Make the clean play first. Make better decisions throwing the ball. I just need to see better from center field until one of maybe Marsh shifts to left after a Kepler trade, and
yeah,
then you bring up Crawford. We'll talk about that when we get to the
yeah.
deadline stuff. But what do you got for Khan?
So for Khan, I have the bullpen, as we just talked about. I won't beat a
Yeah,
dead horse there. I mean, that's just, we'll address that more when we get to the trade deadline, I think. But the other thing is the inconsistent offense.
yeah,
It's the same thing we've been talking about for the past, what, 3 years.
yeah.
It just there's so much talent in that lineup, and it frustrates me when they go through these periods where they're leaving guys on base like throughout the game, like multiple, like you'll have two instances of bases loaded where they come away with nothing. Bases loaded, one out.
Yeah.
Hit a fly ball to the outfield, you get at least one run. Like, get that run in.
It's like the one
um
thing Brandon Marsh did right in Houston. He put the ball in the air, and that's why he
right.
scored a run.
Well, but that's, I mean, so yeah, that's definitely an issue. I also, the other concern, I don't know if it's a concern. This is the fewest home runs they've had at the halfway point in quite some time. Um, I'd like to see more of it. On the other hand, I'm glad they're finding ways to score runs without relying on the home run ball, because I think that's what's kind of doomed them in the playoffs the last couple of years. They don't hit the home runs, and they're not manufacturing runs. Now, you bring up someone like Crawford. He's the type of guy that can get on base and put pressure on the defense. And, Schwarber or Harper isn't hitting a solo home run. Maybe they're getting, multiple runs on a
Think,
homer. But
think about the speed at the top. You get
yeah,
Crawford,
Trey,
Turner,
yeah,
yeah, in that order. Like, hey, you got guys on second and third for Bryce. Like, there's some runs scored. You don't need a home run. That's two runs potentially on a double.
exactly.
Like two runs
Yeah,
on a single. So yeah,
yeah. Yeah, no, no. So that's it. I mean, it's just
absolutely.
it's gotta. I mean,
It,
and that's what's been an issue for them in the playoffs the last couple of years. It's the offense going cold at the wrong time. We talked about it before. They have to execute.
it reminds me, like the offense right now reminds me of just the Philly career of Odubel Herrera. When they go cold, they go ice cold,
Right.
frozen cold. Like it's bad. Like when they're not hitting, like because if they're going 0 for 12 with runners in scoring position, obviously they're not winning that game. It's
Right.
happening way too much that they're one for something, 0 for something. Maybe if they're lucky, 2 for something. With runners on in scoring position, I mean, yeah, they've hit a couple more the last couple days, but there's not consistent enough still.
Yeah, exactly. The consistency is the key, because they go through periods where
I
they're
mean,
tearing the cover off the ball, and then they go through
I
periods
mean,
where it's like they're struggling to get a
right,
hit or a run
like,
across.
like right now is the worst time to have a break because JT's finding his swing again. I mean,
I
it's been
I agree. No, for him, but as a whole, this team needs a
no, they
break.
need it.
I'm,
Yeah,
they need a break. The pitchers are probably overworked. The starting pitchers have. I mean, the amount of games these guys go into the seventh or even through the seventh is astounding in this day and age. You just don't see
yeah.
a rotation across the board.
And,
At least the top three going that deep into games. I mean, we're lucky we haven't had to rely on our bullpen that heavily in that
I mean,
you know.
we talked about it yesterday. Sanchez should have been in the game even longer against San Diego.
I think he should
Like
have been able to try to finish
he
that game.
could
It was
have. He hasn't.
85 pitches with one out in the eighth inning. At least let him get through the eighth. Like,
Yeah,
let him go. And then there's what happens. The first pitch, or at least one of the first two pitches to Machado, he ropes the ball into left field against Kirkering, I guess it was.
yeah.
And nothing against Kirkering, but Sanchez was pitching well. Like, again, I get the matchup thing, but the guy's pitching well. He has faced Machado twice by that point, and he's
Yeah.
done fine with him. I mean, I think Machado maybe had gotten another hit, but it was a single. Like, he wasn't getting, they weren't getting solid contact for the most part off of Sanchez. They had to sacrifice bunt to get guys into scoring position,
Right.
which, doesn't happen in baseball anymore. Not really.
Mm.
Um, and T-Mac made a good point. Like, that shows the respect the Padres had for Sanchez and how good he's been. Is they're
Yeah.
willing to
Oops.
Jackson Merle, I think it was that did it, and he's a threat to hit a long
Yeah.
ball. But
He
in
hit a
that
couple
case,
off
they're
Wheeler.
like,
Yeah.
yeah, let's just bunt it and get these two guys into scoring position. So, yeah, it's. We'll see, but I will. So I guess let's get to what do you think the biggest change they need for the second half? Like, what's the biggest change needed for the second half of the season if they're going to be successful going into the postseason?
Closer, a consistent closer,
Yeah.
which they're going to have to go get.
Oh, for sure.
I'm afraid of what they may try to trade. Because I know there's some players that are available, which could include Justin Crawford, for instance. I don't want to see Justin Crawford go. I don't
Me
want to
neither.
see Andrew Painter go. I don't want to see Aiden Miller go. But McAbe will see you. You can go. but like there's been talk, we've seen rumors of Clase from the Guardians, or Mason Miller is always a possibility, and Duran or Griffin Jacks from the Twins.
Yeah, and then
And
the other one I heard was Bednar from
Bednar and Santana,
Pittsburgh.
both of them for
Well,
Pittsburgh.
yeah, they were talking about getting both of them. I've seen
Yeah,
a lot
that'd
of
be pretty
rumors where
cool.
well, you're going to solve, not solve, but you're going to strengthen your pen immediately with grabbing those two.
It gets Daniel Robert out of the way.
Well, and that's ridiculous. I mean, he is a two-way player perpetually. Like he is not going to steadily stay on a major league roster. The only reason he's here is because our bullpen is so thin. But yeah, I agree with you. That is the prime
So
issue going in. I mean, you see any team that goes deep into the playoffs has a bullpen, especially a back end of the bullpen that is almost
you,
ironclad, and we do not have that right now.
you need that big guy. You need that guy that is lights out, or that can be that we've seen in the past. And if they can go get Class A, I'd be so excited. I
Yeah.
mean, like he has shown the ability to be a lockdown closer many a times. And hey, if they could package a deal that happens to bring in an average bat, like a very good average bat, in Stephen Kwan, which we saw as a rumor, like hey, send out Kepler, you can send out Brandon Marsh or Rojas, one of those two guys too. Like
Yeah.
somehow send a nice little package with them, throw in a few prospects, and bring up Justin Crawford. They want to. I know they want to open up a spot for him eventually. Like I still want to see him
Well,
starting before the end of August.
and I think if they deal one of the outfielders, I mean, I think that's an indication that they're probably going to try and get Crawford
As they
up
should.
to the big club because like unless you're bringing someone back, if you bring Quan in, although then depending on who they get rid of, Quan's not a center fielder, so
Play left.
yeah, but what I'm saying, like if you get rid of, like you wouldn't have anybody to play center field if you got rid of, like it wouldn't be Rojas. You're not going to stick with him as a starter. Um, so if you trade Marsh and bring in Quan, if that happens, that doesn't solve your center field problem. So it would have to be
Right.
Crawford coming up.
Absolutely.
So I would like to see something happen with the center field spot. They just need more energy. They need more, you know, pop out of that spot. And like you said, Crawford's not a power hitter, but
I mean,
he's going to hit for average. He's going to put the ball in play. He's going to bring speed to the table. And like you said, that's at the top of that lineup. That's just another pair of legs that's going to be dangerous.
and when he comes up, he be hitting nine. So it's a
Right,
second leadoff hitter.
but exactly, I was going to say it's a second. Yeah, exactly. You're
And you got
setting the
Stott in
table
front
for
of him.
Trey. Yeah, yeah. And we've talked about it. I still believe Stott has the makings of a good
Me
leadoff
too.
hitter.
Me
I
too.
just don't think it panned out this season for one reason or another so far. But he has the mentality that you look for. It didn't come to fruition when Rob tried it. And I'll give Rob credit. He did try it and he stuck with it for a little while. But Stott was kind of getting away from his approach of working the count. I think he
Yeah.
started to get a little jumpy,
hmm
which I think that's part of the problem because if he sticks with his approach, I think he is exactly the type of guy you want leading off. But um, yeah, so I'll just we can I think I agree with you. The back end of the bullpen, and then I'd like to get either another right-handed bat or make a move that gets Kepler maybe out or something, removes a weakness and then allows Crawford to come up and ultimately leads to a
Like
strengthening.
I think if they're making a deal with the Twins or the Guardians, it's gonna be a package. You're gonna
Yeah.
see more than one name coming back
Oh,
to
sure.
us, and
Yeah.
several names leaving us. So like, hey, if they could bring back a Byron Buxton, I know he gets hurt often, but he's
Yeah.
one
I
heck of a
don't.
ball player.
He is. But I don't love that. I think and he's not the youngest guy either. Like they need to get younger. And I get that
That's where he won
we're
Quan in
trying to
Class
add
A.
huh?
That's where he won Quan in Class A. They were both
Well,
27.
yeah, they're younger, and I mean, our guys are all north of 30 at this point. Our core guys,
Yeah.
and that's that's something to think about. I don't think you. I saw something today where people were talking about Trout again, and it's like,
Mm,
I.
I'm over it.
First of all, he's not even hitting that well this year. When you look at his slash line, it's not that good. Um, but and it might improve. But that's not the point. He gets injured a lot. I mean, he's been made of glass the last 10 years, basically 5, 10 years.
It's a shame.
It is a shame because he's got talent. It's kind of in that Griffey vein of like the dude has five-tool caliber skill, but
Yeah.
he's not been able to stay healthy. Unfortunately, it happened way earlier in his career than it did for Griffey. But I don't like that. I don't like that
No,
either.
no, I'll say it's not gonna
I
happen.
would be open to Quan though if it meant maybe getting Crawford up to the major leagues, right? If you
Yeah,
could see Quan in left, Crawford in center, Casty in right, I like that.
me
That
too.
is a much better alignment out there. There's no liability defensively. There's more offensive potency in two
Yeah,
spots at
yeah.
that point when you look at it like
I think
that. So I would be okay with that, but we'll see. But if you bring Class A here too, obviously that's a great pickup for the bullpen. The problem then is, like you said, who are
who do
we
you give it
giving
up?
up? I don't want to give up certainly Crawford. Um, Painter is he's I just don't see how you move him after all the waiting you've done to
Right.
I just don't. I think you got it. They still haven't seen him in a major league game. Like like
Yeah,
it just seems. I mean, I could see them maybe dealing Miller if that was like the thing that did the deal, but it has to be the right deal. Like it has to be
right.
a thing that's really going to, on paper, give you a distinct boost at your chances to win in October. And if it doesn't, I don't think you make the deal. That's kind of the litmus test I'm going with.
We'll see what happens. It's right around the corner, man. I mean, we're getting real close to this deadline. I'm I'm excited and nervous at the same time.
Yeah, yeah, it's gonna be an interesting
Yes, it will.
time here. Yeah, we've got only a few weeks here, a couple weeks, 2 weeks. Um, and I guess the other question we kind of touched on it with Sanchez, but and then Ranger ultimately got the invite for the All Star game. He declined. Trey did not get selected,
That's
even though he's leading the
ridiculous.
National League in hits,
I mean,
which is absurd. And again, defensively, there are better defensive shortstops, but
so
Trey has been exactly. You got to look at the
like
overall thing, and he leads the National League in hits, regardless of his position. He should be on the All Star team.
so the snubs for the All Star game this year are ridiculous. I did
Yeah.
think of some other words, and I'm not going to say because we're clean. Um, but I like yeah, Trey should be an All Star. The other All Star outside of the Phillies, Seiya Suzuki is having a fantastic year. He's leading. He's leading the league in RBIs with the leading National League in RBIs, and he's got 20 plus homers. Like, what are you doing?
Yeah.
Who's putting in these votes? Like, come on! Like, hey,
Yeah.
that outfield in Chicago that's something special.
Yeah. No.
Like
No.
you got
And
Kyle Tucker, Pete Crow,
yeah,
Armstrong. So
yeah.
yeah,
No, they've got a really stacked outfield in terms of talent for sure. But yeah,
absolutely.
no, it is. It's become like kind of a popularity contest more than a objective like voting of like who actually deserves to be in it, which is weird. But anyway, we'll see how that moves forward. But the All Star game is I haven't cared about it for a while. I still like the home run derby. I'm just not
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
watching it right now. But
Cruz just hit a 513-foot homer.
nice.
I mean, it's a home run derby. The balls might be a little juiced, but hey, he's got some major pop.
No,
So,
no, he's a special athlete for
yeah.
sure. But so my other question, or my other one of the other things I wanted to talk about, which I think we touched on this as well, was Kyle Schwarber. He's at the 30 home run mark.
Mhm.
Do we think he gets to 50? Do we think he gets more than 50? Do you think there's a chance he
I
ties or breaks Howard's record of 58 in a single
mean,
season?
I think he's going to hover around 50. He might get slightly over. I'm thinking maybe 52. I don't think he breaks. I don't think he breaks Howard's record.
That's where I'm at. I think he's somewhere between 50 and 58. Like he doesn't quite reach it, but I think he'll be maybe low 50s, like you said. Yeah, 51, 52, maybe 53. But
Eh, well, unfortunately, we need him to get there. Like we
yeah,
need him to hit 50 because You're not getting much power from the rest of the lineup. Hopefully, Bryce turns it around. He's swinging the bat a little bit better right now. So,
Yeah, and he just missed a couple on
oh,
Sunday.
yeah, he just missed a
Opposite
couple.
field, he's doing that, and when he again, I've said it before, when he's going the opposite
Oh,
way
man,
with power in San Francisco, the four
he
extra
almost hit
base hit
four
game.
homers in San
Yeah.
Francisco. Like
Well,
that
and
was
and I
pretty
love
impressive.
I love after that game because there were a lot of people that were like, oh, is Bryce ever going to hit for power again? And he's just like, like I'm good at this. Like I
Seen it.
I'm good at this game. I've done it for a while. Like he didn't say it like that, but it was kind of like
It was
like I know
self-aware.
I'm good at this game.
Yeah,
Like I've
he
done it since I
knows.
was I've been playing in this league since I was 19. I can do
Practically
this.
in diapers. So
Right,
like,
yeah. So, but yeah, I mean, no, I'm not worried about Bryce. I think he'll get
yeah,
his power stroke going again, and that'll be good. But so the other thing we're talking about, like kind of the midpoint, we talked about the rotation being the crown jewel of this team right now for
yeah.
sure. Um, where do you think this rotation ranks among other rotations in recent history with this team, this organization?
Mm, right there with 2011.
I, I was going to
Yeah,
say the same thing.
I
The
mean,
Oswalt, Hamels,
the
Halliday,
four aces.
Cliff Lee. Yeah, I mean,
I mean,
they don't have that fourth because Luzardo could be that if he can get back to that first two
I
months
mean
form of
that
himself or first month.
that year, Oswalt was probably like the weak link of the four, if I recall.
Yeah,
Uh,
weak.
I mean, if you had to choose one of the four,
Right. Yeah, yeah,
I
yeah.
mean,
He
because
wasn't the most dominant of the bunch.
when
No.
Cole Hamels is your third pitcher, like
Right.
so, I think that they are. This is a special 1, 2, 3.
Yeah.
And it is up there with the best rotation that we've seen in our lifetime.
Oh yeah.
So I'm thrilled to see what they've done, and I'm excited to see what they can possibly do. It makes me nervous, like for the like, but the rest if the rest of the team's going to be able to help them out. But
Yeah.
like like Wheeler is one of the most dominant pitchers that I can remember. Like
Yeah.
he like his fastball it rides and it gets by
Rising
guys.
fastball, man.
That sweeper is fantastic. The like
Yep.
every pitch he throws is electric. He can get you out on anything. He could make up a pitch and get you out. He is like one of the best pitchers that I have ever seen.
Oh
And
yeah.
I mean, even
Honestly,
in
I
person, it's
think
special
he's
too.
yeah, I think he really reminds me a lot of Roy Halladay, except Roy was toward the end of his career when he was with us, and he was good the first, especially the beginning of his stint with us.
Yeah,
But the way Zach can command the zone and just do almost whatever he wants with the baseball, Roy had that ability.
yeah.
He had the ability. I've heard someone used to say that I know he was a surgeon with the baseball, like he
Oh,
was that
absolutely.
precise.
Yeah, he was. Yes,
And
absolutely.
Zach is a lot like that. I mean, Zach has different types of what's he got 5 or 6 pitches that he technically can
Hmm.
throw.
Right.
Now, granted, you can't lean on that many in a single game. Like you're going to figure out what's working for you that night
Yeah.
and kind of roll with like 3 or 4 maybe. But he he does that. He has that. He reminds me of Halliday in that way, where when he's on, you're just not going to touch him. You're not going to hit him
And
no matter what you do.
so you got to give credit to the field general too. I mean, like Roy, how
JT,
would yeah, you got to give it to JT. Like that four aces, they had Chooch, who was great behind the plate,
great.
and
Yeah.
and JT knows how to command a game.
Yeah.
He calls a great game, and he barely gets shaken off.
And that's what's going to make it an interesting conversation about bringing him back. Is that to me that alone gives him value and a worthwhile discussion to bring him back. If he's willing to
Cut, hopefully.
come back at as a reasonable rate, in terms of years and money, I think you got to look at it because we've talked about it already. Tait is not ready yet. He's still probably 2 years away from what I'm hearing. And Marchand is not
He's not that guy.
ready to. Yeah, I mean he may be okay as the backup, but he's not ready to take over. JT's hitting is going to continue to dwindle. I think. I mean that's just
I mean,
reality.
it hasn't been stellar. I mean, but it's average.
No, I mean, and he had the big hit on Sunday.
Yeah.
The double to bring the run in. But
Uh,
he's his value to me mostly is at this point. It's just it's
Always.
calling the game, and he's still physically capable back there.
Oh
He still
yeah.
blocks a lot of pitches. He still throws guys out. But yeah, the thing is, pitchers are comfortable with him, and that is a value that cannot be overlooked.
Right.
If guys feel like they can throw anything to the guy behind the plate, and he's either going to block it or he's going to frame it or he's whatever. That's a huge value to have in a catcher, and I just don't think a lot of clubs think about it that way.
I mean, there's going to be clubs drooling over him. Like they're going to want him. So he's going to be a hot commodity, even though at an advanced age. He's their teams are going to want him. So hopefully we can keep him. I think he's second priority on the list of the three big free
After
agents
Kyle,
after
yeah,
Kyle. Yeah. And it's Kyle,
yeah,
Kyle, JT, and Ranger in that
yeah,
order.
yeah. I wouldn't disagree with that. But yeah, so I mean it's going to be interesting. It's I think that they're in first place right now in the division. It has not been. I mean, the Mets have helped us by struggling
Yeah,
themselves. But it's not a. It, we haven't been bad. I think we just have really high expectations. It's just been the inconsistency. It's
yeah.
the up, the down, the up, the down. But the reality is, we're what is it? 14 games over 500.
It's something like that. 13, 14. It's
It's
good.
not
It's
bad.
very good. It's very
Yeah,
good.
and actually, it's the best we've had aside from last year in a long time. Like we tend to. Obviously, we tended to start slowly during the this group of guys the earlier years
Yeah,
where they were
right.
struggling the first month or two, and then they turn it on June, July, whatever. But it's been a little different this year in terms of the timeline. But they have what it takes to win on the offensive side for the most part. They have the talent. I've said it before. They just need to execute,
Yeah,
especially when it matters. They have the starting pitching. They need to shore up the bullpen, and yeah, they need to bring in probably an extra bat bench or some bench bat. Sorry, bat bench,
I
bench bat. It's particularly a right-handed one. I think maybe like something they need some pop off that bench. You need your Matt Stairs. Because I mean, literally, that's what he was brought in to do.
oh
Is
yeah,
just to
and he did
supply
it.
power off the bench, and he did do it, and he did it exactly when they needed him to do it.
Yes, he did.
But we don't really have that right now. So we'll see. I think there's no question Dombrowski's going to do some things at the deadline. The only question is, will they be enough? Will they be kind of cop out moves? Where it's like, I tried, or what? But I mean, Estevez made the All Star game
Want to talk
team.
about it?
I think Dombrowski should have brought back
One of the two.
him or Hoffman
Yeah.
in addition to Romano. Like if you weren't going to bring, and I get why they didn't get Hoffman at the time, get him back because he
A lot
failed
of
two
money.
physicals.
A lot of money.
I get it. And he did win a lot of money. And he kind of talked about wanting to start. So none of that really fit in with what we were trying to do. But Estevez, I mean, he wasn't even bad. He just didn't get opportunities because we
Right.
were trailing all through the playoffs. Like he
Yeah.
didn't even get a chance to do his job, really.
Right.
I would have probably brought him back, but again, I don't know how much money he was looking at. I think it was less than
Yeah.
Hoffman,
Good,
probably, but
good for him for having a sub 2 ERA.
right. But I mean, again, that is what it is.
Yeah.
That's not. I'm just kind of ranting
Yeah,
about
yeah,
that.
yeah.
But
Look at Cody Clemens. At the offensive side, hitting 12. He's got 12 homers already.
yeah, but I
Like,
think
come on,
his average is still fairly
who cares?
low. I
It's
don't.
good for him.
Yeah, no, I'm happy for him, but the people that are like, "Oh, we should have kept him," it's like, yeah, but
There's your
that's just
bench
another
bat.
left-handed bat that we have an abundance of already,
Yeah,
and
true, true.
he may not. He probably wouldn't have hit 12 home runs with us because he
He
wouldn't have
would
gotten the
have, he would have
opportunities.
12 at bats this season right now.
Right.
So
Well, all right. Well, Jim, I think we are at the end. We have covered a lot
we
tonight,
did.
and I'm glad. I'm glad that we're back. I'm glad to
Me
be back in
too.
the country,
Yes.
in my home. But yeah, I look forward to the second half, and
Same here.
yeah, this weekend I'll just make this little quick note. I'll be at the game Saturday, my wife and
Ah,
I. So we will be behind Nick in right field.
I will be there on Sunday.
Oh, okay. So
I
we're
will be.
covering two
Yes,
thirds of.
I will be on the. Unfortunately, where seats I get for work, they're on the visitors' dugout side. But
Yeah.
I'll be a couple rows behind home plate, and I'll get to hear the sound of the bats. I would love to hear the sound off of Mike Trout's bat, just
Yeah.
because apparently it's quite the ear.
And we'll see him in the outfield where we're
Yeah,
sitting.
yeah.
So,
So we'll see.
so
Yes, you
no,
will.
it should be good. It should be good. So
Yes,
yes,
sir.
we will be recapping that. That'll be the first series back after the break,
Yep.
and hopefully our boys come back fresh and energized, and make a strong second half run here and go into the playoffs firing on all cylinders, and hopefully Dombrowski gets them a
Yeah.
few more weapons too.
We'll find out in about 15 days or so, right?
Exactly.
All right. So,
Well, Jim, do you want to go ahead and close us out?
yes, I'm gonna do that. Don't forget, guys, you can listen to us on Spotify and Apple Podcasts at Phillies Unfiltered Podcast, where you can also watch us on YouTube at Phillies Unfiltered Podcast. Follow us on Facebook at Phillies Unfiltered Podcast, Instagram at Phillies Unfiltered, X/Twitter at Funfiltered. That's PHUNPHILTERED. We love to hear it.
We do.
All
All
right.
right. Well, thank you everybody for listening. Sorry
Yes.
for the hiatus. Hope you enjoyed our special episode last week with the all-time lineups. We really had a good time recording that one. I won't speak for Jim, but I know for me that was one of my favorites just because it was just so
Yes.
nostalgic and just talking about
Yes.
baseball like nerds that we are
Yes.
about baseball.
Yes.
So,
Yes. Absolutely.
if you haven't listened to that, please go take a look. It is kind of a timeless episode. It doesn't really fit into
Yes.
obviously the time of the season at all. So listen to it whenever you
You
can.
have forever.
You do. You can listen to it whenever you want. But anyway, thanks for joining us, and we will see you again next week. And Jim,
As always, go Phils.
go Phils. See you guys.
See you.